work. We will make it work. You will make it work. Former champion, you know how it goes. We just get on with it. But we're here in Nottingham.
Yeah.
Talk to us about this fight, because I'm going to be honest, Darren. And welcome to Darren Barker. Welcome to Darren Barker.
Thank
everybody.
you for having me.
How rude. I don't know much about. Is it OUIZZA? OUIZZA?
Yeah, OUIZZA.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about him.
He's on a good run of form in his last three. Two of his last opponents were unbeaten.
Okay.
Not afraid to travel.
Clearly.
He's a fighter that has suffered defeat, but like I say, he's on a good run of form, and he believes in himself. Stylistically, physically strong, likes to impose himself on his opponents, likes to be busy, works the body well, but he's not been in there with somebody as good as Dalton Smith. Dalton Smith is a future superstar, somebody I believe can really fly the flag for British boxing on the world scene. So I expect maybe a few tricky rounds early, but Smith to come on strong late.
When you look at their styles, because you've explained it may be quite come forward, pressure, up, down, working both. How do you think Dalton's going to fare with that? Like you said, I know, rising star, but when you talk about the styles, I'm trying to just imagine the both of them in the ring together.
Yeah, look, I think
it's going to be an active fight.
Yeah, it will be.
OUIZZA
understands that this is a massive opportunity for him to become not only the European champion, but make a name for himself and pave big opportunities for himself in this sport. And it's difficult, you know. French boxing has had a bit of a resurgence. We see Sorais knock out Munguia in Tijuana. That was incredible. What an upset that was. We see Chev Clark, didn't we, in Monaco recently lose.
Yes.
And
so you reckon this could be the rise?
Well, he'll take some confidence away from that these fighters that weren't expected to do big things have caused upsets. So yeah, like it'll take a lot away from that stylistically, and again the pattern of how the fight may play out. I think they will meet each other in the centre of the ring, and it's down to Dalton Smith to use his angles, use his body shots, and not get overwhelmed by OUIZZA, who's going to try and work the body and try and be busy. And I just think that superior boxing ability that Dalton Smith has, not just against the Frenchman, but in general, will hold him in good stead and will be the difference.
When you look at Dalton's career, because I like to look at the fighter's career, obviously Dalton's been with you guys from the start, comes out of Steel City, you guys have backed him. When you look at building fighters, because this is not a next-gen card now, he's gone past that. He's got a belt. How do you look at his career as regards to building him and maybe a little bit of stop-start? Okay,
perfect.
And he had injury, but
yeah, no, I'd say perfect because he's had to navigate himself around injuries, etc. Just look at who's on the undercard. Ellie Scotney, been with Matchroom since day one, and now she's fighting for the Ring Magazine title, unify the division. That's the goal for every fighter, and I think Frank Smith, I can see sat over there, he'll be extremely proud of himself, as will Eddie, with the way that they've navigated these fighters through the early stages, picking up titles, and now like Ellie, she's become a world champion. Like Dalton, on the cuffs of fighting for something very, very big. It's everybody's winning there. I believe the promoters are happy, and the fighters are happy, and the fans are happy because Dalton and Ellie, to name the two, have been in some big fights.
The only reason why I look at it like that, because sometimes I think, obviously, there's a tier system in the boxing at the moment. As a fighter, it might have been more coupled. You had your separate promotional companies, but it was more, there was sort of more or less one level. Now we're looking at a sort of a tiered system. And the thing is, Matchroom's kind of looked at that and thought, we've still got to put on the UK shows.
When you say tier system, what do you mean?
I think there's you have the small horse shows or the smaller horse shows because they're doing quite well. Then we have obviously the promoters in the UK.
I get you.
Then it's straight to Saudi, and in between there's a massive grey area. There's a bit of a disparity, and me as a fan, and I'll always be a fan first, don't want to see everything sort of underneath disappear, and then it's all about the Riyadh season shows. I want to see that we're
so you're happy if it's like this?
That we're still
I would agree with you.
the UK shows. We're still pumping through our talents, and
I think you're spot on, and I think the next 2 weeks is just that.
Yes, it is.
Like, I don't know if you just said it there, but we've got tonight. Saturday night, Dalton Smiths VS for the European title, with some other really good fights, and Ellie Scotty defending her world titles and looking to capture the Ring magazine. Next weekend we've got Next Gen show, George Liddard, etc., and all the young talent coming through. And I must say, sorry, what I was about to say is a double header of what we've got Saturday night. Diego Pacheco, potentially the next superstar in the super middleweight division, maybe one of the next stars of world boxing fighting. So you kind of ticking all boxes. And then next month we got the best card that we've ever seen. So you're right. And in between all of this, may I say, you've got all the little small hall shows going around. So yeah, in the next sort of 6 weeks, you've got the perfect boxing. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's what I'd like to see, because sometimes, like I said, as a fan,
don't want much, do you?
No, but I'm open and I'm honest, and I think, yes, we're greedy, but what we do as British fans, we love to see British boxing, and we didn't want it to get to the point where it kind of disappears, fades out, and then the fighters are like reaching for a length that they probably can't get to just yet. But in that regards, you've mentioned February the 22nd. It would be rude of me not to discuss that card.
It's all right, isn't it? It's not bad. It's not a bad card.
Listen, from when you can't even look at the card and probably predict a definite order of it, obviously Beterbiev, Bivol, yes, they belong at the top. But when you look at all the other fights, competitive, 50-50s, nice work. I had to speak to Virgil Ortiz that's going up against Israel Madrimov.
That's one that, for me, is out under the radar.
Why? Why do you think it is?
Why? Because of the other fighters that are on there. Chief Support is the top of the bill anywhere in the world.
Yes,
Daniel
it is.
Dubois versus Joshua Parker is a mega fight.
Yep, we know.
You know, that main event is one of the best rematches of all time. The first fight was a cracker. My old division, Hamza Shiraz looking to take on Adamez for the WBC middleweight world title. You know, again, I talk about future faces and stars of the sport. Hamza Shiraz could be that person. Ajit Kabayar versus Zhilei Zhang, way down there. And I think first fight on the card.
Come on, talk to us about that.
Muhammad Ali Kill is Callum Smith versus Joshua Buatsi.
Imagine.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
It is, for as long as I've been involved in boxing, certainly the best card I've ever come across. It's mega.
Even as a fighter as well.
You know, the Madrimov Virgil Ortiz fight is so good. It's so good. Yeah, the cards is ridiculous. It really is. It's special.
If you used to pick a favourite, though, I'll give you two favourites off the card because there's so many on there. Which ones are you really looking forward to?
Favourites?
Yeah, on that card.
Okay, for me, the main event was one of my highlights of last year.
Yes.
But aside from that, I think the Chief Support and I can't pick.
You can't?
I honestly, Virgil Ortiz Madrimov.
And Madrimov's going to come back in with something to prove, because I believe that he held back a little bit in that Crawford.
Okay.
I think a few people have, but I think he's going to come in with a little bit more aggression, because I think he held back a little bit with Crawford. I don't know. What did you think?
I don't know. I just think he was in there with a
supreme fighter.
A supreme fighter.
Yeah.
And it went very quickly, that 12 rounds.
It did.
That was an honour to be there in LA. It was great. But it's a pick'em.
It's a pick'em.
What a card.
What are you saying about Joshua Buatsi versus Callum Smith? Both, you know, obviously Buatsi was a former matchroom fighter, so you know him
Two
just
questions
as well.
For me. How much is left from Callum Smith, and will we ever see the promise that we was expecting from Joshua Buatsi? Because I don't think we've seen it yet. I believe there's another level to Buatsi.
Yes.
But he has to go out there and show me and prove it. And there's a lot of questions. I think if there was any fight that was going to get Callum Smith up for it, he's going to train his socks off, is Joshua Buatsi. He won't want to lose to a domestic rival. So it's a great fight. It really is a brilliant, brilliant fight.
But you mentioned there, you talk about how much has obviously Callum Smith got left.
Yeah.
Liam Smith has just come out of wherever he was and re-signed with you. So we talk about this, how much have they got left? But you've just re-signed Liam Smith, Beefy. Beefy's back.
Yeah. It's changed boxing and sport in general. Fighters can go on for longer with the introduction of sports science and nutrition and, you know, medical care, and able to manage your way through camps now compared to even when I was fighting. It's
Yeah.
changed an awful lot. So fighters can increase their longevity in the game, and there are two prime examples. It all boils down to, though, that aside, your desire to want to continue in boxing, the hardest sport in the world.
What made you say no more then? Because you've come out
Contentment.
All right.
I was content.
Content with your
with everything, and I didn't want to do it anymore, if I'm honest. So it was very, very easy for me to hang up the gloves.
difference in fighters, and I'm going to leave it on this note then. You were said you were content, so that means financially, your achievements in the sport, and so that, you know, it's time for me to hang the gloves up.
Yeah.
What happens then, and I need to get your opinion on this because you're a former fighter, what happens to the ones that aren't content, that keep coming back? What is that driving?
That's when you need good people around you to tell you some home truths.
Truths.
Yeah. And the two examples that you said there, Callum Smith and Liam Smith, they've got good people around them, and they're wise enough to understand that they've got more left in this game. But for people that aren't so fortunate, you need people to look after you.
And that's a positive.
No one else will.
Well, no, but this is it. Boxing, sometimes we think is common sense, but it's a lot more difficult than we make it out to be. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going to let you get on with your...
Enjoy Saturday night.
Oh, of course.
Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to speak to you, and thank you for your time.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.